Well, hello, good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Jiu-Jitsu 2000 here today. I'm back, and today I have another interesting offering from Sofirn. This is another flashlight that I'm really excited about. Right here on the left, you can see the Sofirn model SC31, and then you can see the upgraded version SC31B. Now in this video today, we're going to talk about the SC31 PRO edition. I want to say thank you right off the bat to Sofirn for sending this out for review. So we'll just pull that out just like that and make sure that there's nothing left in the box. So we have everything here. So the first thing that we're seeing here is the owner's manual. Very nice printed owner's manual. Right here has a lot of specs on the light. So feel free to pause your screen if you want to read any of this information here. It has many different modes or different UIs. So very nice owner's manual. Tons of information, and as you can see, multiple languages. The next thing that we see here is a little bag that has a lanyard and 2 replacement O-rings. Those O-rings are what make this light IPX8 waterproof. I want to double check on that though and make sure it's IPX8 because I'm pretty sure it is. Yes, it is right here. IPX8 underwater down to 2 meters. So very cool. The next thing that you'll see is something new. Both of these previous generation of lights were micro USB recharging. So you have a USB 2.0 to USB-C charging cable. And as you can see, it's obviously included with the light. And I'm stretching that out. That's probably about 4 feet long. So USB 2 to USB-C. Very nice. And it's cool that they include that with the light. Let's take a look. First look at this light here. So we see a lot of similarities that we saw on the previous generations, more specifically the SC31B, except this Pro version is quite a bit brighter. If you stack them up side by side, it's tiny bit shorter. I would say it's probably 1/8 of an inch shorter than the SC31B. It does have a pocket clip, and they changed from the stainless steel look of the pocket clip to the black pocket clip, which I think is fine. Right here is the charging port cover. And that's one thing about these. I'm not a big fan of charging on the light like this, but I will say that Sofirn did a good job in this piece of rubber. It's very easy to know when it's completely in place. And if it's out of place, you lose that IPX8 waterproofness. But again, I think they did a really good job on that. And looking inside, you can see the USB-C port there. So that's how you would charge the light. And then something else that's new is this little tag here. It's basically saying to take the insulation film out of the flashlight because it won't work with the insulation film in there. And it's attached to the lanyard hole. This has a flat bottom, so it'll definitely tail stand like the previous models. So there's a closer look at the light there. You can see the construction of the light is very nice. We have a glass lens. Everything's built very well. Let's take a look at that battery. Now when we unscrew the tail cap, you'll see that little insulation film right there. Just dump that out, and that gives us a quick look at the tail cap. Good quality spring there. Everything looks nice. And then right here on the threads, that's where you'll see that O-ring that I was talking about. And again, they send us 2 replacements, one for each end of this battery tube. So looking at the battery, we have a 3000 milliamp hour rechargeable 18650 battery. Very nice indicators, positive and negative. There's the positive, and there's a look at the negative end of the battery. So it's a standard 18650. Now, one thing that always comes to mind is, can I reverse this pocket clip and change the orientation so that the pocket clip is aiming towards the tail of the flashlight? I would like to do that because I like using this smaller light as a headlamp. Let's take a look at the head construction there. You got a nice quality spring on the head. So if I take the battery tube, can I flip it over to change the orientation of the pocket clip? Sometimes the answer is no, and sometimes the answer is yes. We're going to find out here. So let's put the battery back in there. The head of the light takes the positive end of the battery, and the tail end of the light takes the negative. So screwing the thing on, you can see I have a green indicator. So apparently the answer is yes. We can change the orientation of the pocket clip by switching out the battery tube orientation. I think that's very cool. Very, very cool. Operating this light is extremely simple. I'm going to be talking about the ramping function of this light. So to turn the light on, again, extremely simple. A single press of the button turns the light on. And this light does have a memory. So whatever setting that you're on, when you turn the light off, it'll come back to that setting, with the exception of turbo, or the highest setting that this light produces. So to cycle through the modes, I'm just going to push and hold this button, and you'll see that it ramps all the way up. And then when it gets to the top, if I keep holding, it'll ramp down. If I stop anywhere within that spectrum of ramping by letting up the button, and then I single press to turn the light off, single press to turn it back on, you can see right there that the light has a memory. Now if I want to go, like, let's say to the lowest setting, I'll just keep scrolling down until I get to the lowest setting. That is 1 lumen. And then if I want to quickly access the brightest setting available, I'll quickly double press. That takes me to turbo of 2000 lumens. On this setting, I get 200 meters of throw and 10,000 candela. This light, like I mentioned before, it's IPX8 waterproof down to 2 meters, and it's also impact resistant down to 1 meter. So that's extremely cool. Now if I single press from this setting, the light will turn off, and then if I single press again, it will come to the last mode access before I went to turbo. So single press, you can see it brings it right back down to the lowest setting of moonlight, which is 1 lumen. So let's say I went up, say my spectrum, I was liking that kind of light right there, and then from there, if I double clicked, remember what this looks like right now. Double click, turbo, single click turns off, single click, look at that. It's right back where we wanted it. So very cool operation. You can also see this green battery level indicator. So that's cool. This light has advanced temperature regulation technology, and what that does is it will adjust the brightness of the light automatically when the temperature of the light reaches 45 degrees centigrade to keep the light from overheating. This light has low voltage protection, so what it'll do is it'll have the light step down to a lower level when the battery level is lower than 2.8 volts. To lock the light out, it's from off, 1, 2, 3, 4. You'll get that acknowledgement beam, and then you'll see that it'll go kind of into a breathing mode with that green indicator. Very cool. And then again, a single press of the button or something like that, maybe it's in your pack rolling around, it'll just get like kind of a momentary thing going on. You can push and hold that down and get momentary light, which is cool. But to unlock the light, you have to click it 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. You'll get that acknowledgement blink, and then now again you can turn the light on. So very cool. Very cool lockout function. I like leaving my lights on a lower setting because when I turn them off and when I turn them back on, I don't want to blind everybody. Another cool function that this light has that is similar to a lockout mode is what they call momentary mode. So if you do 5 quick clicks from the off position, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you see that acknowledgement flash. Now what this does is everything that this light does at this point is momentary. So it's a single, you're just pushing and holding. There's no turning it on. You can click the button as many times as you want and it won't come out of that mode. So everything is momentary. Very cool. It's a very cool setting. To end the momentary and go back to normal operation, you have to physically disconnect the power source. Okay, so you disconnect the power, turn the tail cap back on, then the light will work as normal. So let's say we were on the brightest setting. We turn the light off, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, get that little flash. Now it's all momentary on whatever brightness level that you were on. Okay, so it'll remember that. Very cool. So if you want, let's say, to show this one more time, a third time, let's say we're going to disconnect the power to redo this. Let's say you want the momentary of this light to always be on the lowest setting. So we'll turn it on. We'll go down to the lowest setting, moonlight mode, 1 lumen. We'll turn the light off. We'll give it 5 clicks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's that acknowledgement flash. Now anything that we do is going to be on that lowest setting. So that is a cool function that this light has. Now right now you can see that this light is on an extremely bright setting, so 2000 lumens. So it has a special mode that they call Muggle Mode. I think this is pretty cool. What this does is this is for people that might be new to flashlights. Maybe they don't know a lot about flashlights. And what Muggle Mode is it has a reduced output to make sure that somebody can't accidentally start a fire with the flashlight by getting it too hot. So it's very simple interface, and it'll go anywhere from 5 lumens up to 240 lumens, and it'll have a slow kind of ramping thing, and it doesn't blink on that setting. So to access the Muggle Mode from off, you're going to click this 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You saw that acknowledgement flash. So now if you handed this to one of your friends that didn't know anything about flashlights, they can just ramp up, and it doesn't go all the way up to turbo. There's nothing that they can do with this light that's going to make it like max brightness. Again, that's the lowest setting that they can get, 5 lumens. And then if they push and hold, it'll go up to a max of 240 lumens. And then if they continue to hold, you'll see it'll ramp down very slowly, 5 lumens, and it'll ramp up. So this is cool. Maybe if you wanted to give this to a kid or something, you know, to put in their tent, and if they fall asleep and the thing's on, you don't have to worry about them burning anything down. And again, you can see the green battery level indicator telling us the status of the battery, that we're good to go. Very cool setting. Now if you want to turn this mode off, you'll just turn the light off, and then you'll give it 6 clicks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's that acknowledgement flash, and then from here we should be back to normal operation. For, you know, double click took us to turbo. We can ramp all the way down, all the way up, and let's go down to 1 lumen moonlight mode, things like that. So that Muggle Mode is very, very cool. I like that function. Now this light does have a function called blinkies, and from off we're going to click it quickly 3 times, 1, 2, 3, and now you'll see that we are in the mode of what they call blinkies. So it basically does 4, 1, back to 4, and then 1, and then a single press turns the light off, and then of course we turn it back on to normal operation. Now if we're off and we want to access a strobe, we're going to click twice and hold the button down on the 3rd one. There we go. Now we're accessing a strobe function. So I think that's very cool. Very neat setting. Again, if we wanted to do an electronic lockout from off, it's 4 clicks. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the light is going to be locked out and everything is momentary from here. And this is cool. You know, if you want to unlock it from this lockout mode, again, 4 clicks. 1, 2, 3, 4. You'll get that acknowledgement flash, and now you can use the light as normal. Ramp down, ramp up. I like the ramping better than the stepping. And when you're under blinkies and strobes mode of this light, there's a much more options than what I explained in this video. They're a little bit difficult for me to figure out, so I'm not going to try to share that information if I don't have it figured out. But it's pretty cool. There's a sunset mode, there's a beacon mode, there's a temperature check mode, a candle mode, a bike flasher, a party strobe, tactical strobe, lightning storm strobe mode. So very cool, but it's kind of difficult to get into these settings from what I'm seeing here. Okay, let's take a look and see how this IPX8 waterproof standard holds up. Let me come up a little bit and drop it in the water. Looks like it's doing okay so far. Now let's go ahead and cycle up or down. There we go. Looks like it's doing good. Let's cycle down. No problems. Looks like this light's working just fine. So it clearly passes the IPX8 waterproof standard with flying colors. They did a good job on this light. I like this one. Okay, so right now I'm looking at the ground. I've got the light on the lowest setting possible. This is 1 lumen. Look at this woodwork that I did. Look at that. Ain't that pretty? That's redwood. You can see my hands. So if I had a splinter or if I was looking for something or had to read something, this is also a pretty good amount of light. Even though the camera doesn't pick it up that well, this is a lot of light. So if I was going to go for a walk and I wanted to be somewhat discreet, this would be a good amount of light for an application such as that. Now if I push and hold, and before I do that though, look at right here. You see that green power level indicator? So it's telling me that my battery's good. Now if I push and hold the button, you can see that it cycles up, and now you can start to see on the edge of the screen here by my finger the tips of the kayaks sticking out. You can see a ladder over there, and then as I increase the brightness, everything comes to light. Very bright light. So that is 2000 lumens. Now on the other side of my fence there's another building that you can see. So on the other side of the fence there's an alley, and then that building is clear on the other side of the alley. So that is a very nice amount of light. You can easily see very well what's going on. Very cool. And it slowly kind of comes down from the highest setting the longer I let it stay on that setting. So if I push the button, it'll start to climb back up. See that? And then if I push, it'll come down. And then again, aiming at my feet down here. This is a lot of light, even though the camera doesn't really justify it. But I'm really impressed with the amount of light that this puts out using a single 18650. It's a very nice light. Well folks, I want to say thank you for joining me today on this video, checking out the Sofirn SC31 PRO. I like this light. I like the moonlight mode on it. Very low, 1 lumen. I like that you can double click and go to turbo. I do like the ramping function just by holding the button down. I love the memory mode of this thing. Very cool. And honestly, I like that momentary mode. 5 clicks from the light being off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then it's all momentary. I think that's cool. Maybe you're going to be walking around in a movie theater or something like that. I think that's a pretty cool mode to have on a flashlight. Again, disconnect the battery to reset the light. Very cool. And now you can go back to whatever settings you want. Double click to turbo. I just think this is a good light. Again, folks, thanks for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please feel free to leave your comments down below, like this video, share this video, and until next time, have a beautiful day. We'll see you then. Bye for now.